What up, y'all? It's the kid FortWorthFabian, Big Boss Fable. I'm back with a video for the channel, actually doing a reaction to three adults killed in Nashville school shooting. So this is today, man. This news was actually released today. The suspect was a 28-year-old female, was also killed in the shooting at Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. Another day. Man, this is just so unfortunate, you know what I mean? It's crazy that this is common now. This is commonality, bro. You know, every day we wake up to unfortunate news, but school shootings and people trying to target kids, it's normality now. And then this is rape. That's just crazy to me. You know, prayers out to the family, you know, friends, condolences to those who lost a close loved one, man. Rest in peace. There was that shooting in El Paso like last year, if not 6 months ago. And then I think there's been about probably another in between that and this. But like I say, we always seeing these school shootings come up, and it's not just, man. I just can't understand why people would want to target children. You know what I mean? So it's a sickness. You know, we pray for the world. God bless us all. God be there for us all, man. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this. This is an ABC News reaction. It's about a 9-minute video. Let's see what detail ABC News provides.
This is an ABC News special report.
I'm Diane Macedo. We are coming on the air because we are about to hear from officials in Nashville about a school shooting that left at least 3 children dead. Police say the shooter is also dead. Let's listen.
From this spot later in the morning with Chief John Drake and others. At 10:13 this morning, the police department received a call of an active shooter inside Covenant School, Covenant Presbyterian Church. The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers. There was a 5-member team who was on the second floor at that time. 2 individuals from that 5-member team opened fire on the shooter. We know at this point that this shooter is a female. She appears to be in her teens, although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture. We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles. Teens, although is a female. She appears to be in her teens.
She appears, but they said she was 28.
Although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture. We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun. We are efforting now to identify her. She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots. We now know that there are 3 students who were fatally wounded, as well as 3 adults inside the school. We are working to identify those victims. Including the shooter, a total of 7 persons were killed as a result of this morning's incident at the school. By 10:27,
at this point, you got to have security everywhere. There's got to be some type of national mandate. Every school had security, police on staff. And you got police like the little dare officers, but it's not enough backup. There should be one. There should be one main exit and entry point. You know what I mean? There should be door. Obviously, you got doors all around the building to, you know, go outside, XYZ, but the main entrances should be like a front and a back type of entrance. If anything, an entrance and an exit. All the side doors should be monitored in the sense that you can't just, they just said she entered the side door. School should have a mandate to all the side doors are locked during class. Like during class session, that's locked. Stuff like that. Or you have somebody monitoring the side doors, because you already know if you're coming through the main door, those have metal detectors, or you get pat down. Like, how many times do these situations need to occur to where the proper precautions are now put in place? At this point, it's happening every other month now, like every other few months. So let's do the things to prevent this from happening. If somebody can just slip into a side door, there's not enough lockdown and security at schools. It's simple. It's too easy now.
The shooter was deceased. The officers had engaged the shooter by 10:27, and she was deceased. Again, I said the first call came in at 10:13 this morning. We'll have more details to give you later in the morning. Chief Drake will be here in a bit. Now, Kendra Loney from Nashville Fire.
Fire department crews are dispatched for active shooter incidents as well, for medical support, but also for an RTF response, which is a rescue task force response to go in alongside of MNPD response. Our crews were right there on the scene to provide medical aid to any survivors, but also be there for victims so that we could try life-saving efforts in this case. So we went in as soon as it was safe for our responders to do so, to try to provide life-saving efforts for those that were impacted by this incident and this tragedy. Our crews were able to be on scene to pull out those that had viable signs of life, those that were still showing the option to be saved, and we did make transport of 3 individuals and 3 children, and then 2 adults that were taken from the scene. Our crews then.
So they said this was a high school or what? Like, is this a high school, middle school, elementary? What is we working with here?
Set up a reunification unit. That reunification unit is at 2100 Woodmont Boulevard. That's where parents can go to be reunited with their children. All of the remaining students were able to be escorted out of the building with faculty and staff. We're not sure about the processes that they had in place, but we were on scene to help them mitigate anyone from seeing exactly what else was going on, but we're sure that they heard the chaos that was surrounding this. So we do have mental health specialists and professionals that are at that reunification site for both the students and the families that are going to be affected by this today. Our OEM units were able to provide buses to make transport from the Covenant School to the reunification site. We had one bus that carried 74 students and faculty staff members to the reunification site, and an additional bus that had 34 students on them. So all of those persons were carried. It was difficult for us to kind of identify who was just there as part of staff for the church versus who was there for the school, because it's all housed in one building. But at this time, we were able to get that number of persons transported out of the building and into that reunification site. So that is where parents can go to be reunited with their students. There is a hotline being set up for parents to call, but right now that is where they should go, 2100 Woodmont Boulevard, which is Woodmont Baptist Church. Additionally, we do have a debriefing site set up for on-staff or person for them, a hand injury as a result of officer that was injured with a hand injury as a result of making an attack on this incident. But other than that, there have been no additional injuries to first responders or personnel responding to this. And as Don mentioned earlier, we will have further updates coming later on in the afternoon.
So this is a K-12 classical Christian private school. I'm tripping, man. This one's in Dallas, man. It's a private school, though. Preschool through the 6th grade. Preschool through the 6th grade. Wow. So these are kids. These are young kids.
So on a typical day, there would be about 209 students inside the school and approximately 40 to 50 staff members, about 42 staff members. I'll take just a couple of questions before we go back.
Clear. So the 7 dead, and then nature of injuries, how many injured, do you know? that maybe are being treated still, or injuries? I know the first responders weren't. But...
An officer had a wound from cut glass. That is the only other injury that I'm aware of.
Do we know if the injuries to the students, are they critical, or do we know the condition?
The 3 students are deceased. The 3 students who were shot are deceased.
She said, do you know the status? That was a waste of a question, bro. You sound dumb because he specifically used the word fatal. If you don't know what the word fatal mean, what is you doing?
3 staff members who were shot are deceased. That's a total of 6 victims. And then you have the shooter who was engaged by 2 of our police officers, part of a 5-member team, and she is deceased for a total of 7 individuals. There are no other gunshot victims, non-lethal, that I'm aware of at present.
Do you know how many people were shot? Do you know how many people were shot before the police engaged the shooter?
No.
Did you know if they shot anyone after they engaged the shooter? Do you know if the shooter was able to shoot anyone else?
Does the shooter have any connection to the school that we know of?
We do not know who she is at this juncture. We're trying to identify her. She does appear to be...
Why is y'all asking questions pertaining to things he already addressed? Some of these reporters be so dumb. Like, was y'all not listening to him? Like, because why are you asking these kind of questions? As a reporter, you would want to be able to get a lot of information that hasn't been revealed yet. So you're wasting time asking questions that you already have answers to. If you worked for me, I'd fire you, bro. If I recognize your voice and Sally, that was you. I heard the question you asked. Come to my office. I'm letting you go, bro. I'm firing you because you obviously not doing your job. I mean, you're doing your job, and you're doing a job that everybody else seems to be doing, asking the same questions. I'd rather have a reporter on my team that can actually extract genuine information, valuable information that the public hasn't even heard yet.
In her teams, again with 2 assault-type rifles and at least 1 pistol.
Do we know if there have been riots or previous recent incidents that just not come to the school or the church?
No, I'm not.
Was there an SRO or an SSO working at the school?
No, this is a church that operates a private school. There was no Metro Police personnel.
That's
inside
why.
that building at any time.
So to that point, it's a church that, you know, like he mentioned, just operates a private school. There's no police personnel on campus. Because I'm thinking in my head, scratching that, like every school got at least 1 police officer that makes his rounds nowadays. I know high schools do. I'm not sure if middle school, I'm pretty sure middle schools do too. But elementary school, I'm not 100% on that. But nowadays, you should always have at least minimum 2 dedicated police. 2 dedicated police on campuses now. You see 1, that's not sufficient. That's not enough now. In today's day and age that we're living in, you need at least 2 to 3. And have them cover every entry point. You know what I mean? Make sure you got metal detectors. All the side doors are locked that somebody can't just slip in. That make no sense. But then again, like you just mentioned, this was a church, so they weren't even, I don't even think they was really ready for, you know, these, or maybe that establishment wasn't even taking these proper precautions. But churches, schools, those are the places getting shot up nowadays. So, man, prayers out to the family, condolences to those, the ones lost, you know what I mean? Just to see this type of news, it's heartbreaking and saddening, you know what I mean? But, you know, I believe our government need to take action now. The country, us as people, need to take action. If they're not doing it, then take it into your own hands. I even heard of police or teachers now who have the right to carry now. Teachers getting armed with firearms, you know what I mean? Keeping the strap in the desk. Smart. I mean, if play it smart. If nobody else is gonna pretty much cross the T's and dot the I's for you, you gotta pretty much do it yourself because nobody else is doing it, bro. So at this point, that kind of sums up the video. I'm not gonna go ahead and continue on. I do believe we got the just here. You know, like I said, prayers out to the family and friends. You know what I mean? It's just sad to see this continue happening, but I definitely think that us as a people, us as a nation, need to take the proper precautions so that we prevent this or minimize this from happening at the frequency it happens. And then we be in a better place. But it seems like nobody's willing to put mandates or put things into play. It shouldn't be hard to try to beef up security or put some type of mandate into play for the whole nation. You know what I mean? So we'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace, love, prosperity. We out. God bless.